Look, design, the definition of design, and I will die on this hill. The definition of design is the creation of intentional change. And so, regardless of what discipline in design you are working in, you are trying to create intentional change, positive, desirable, intentional change. And so you may do it through different vernacular, different forms. Graphic design does it differently than architecture, does it differently than product design, but you're all trying to create desirable, positive change.
Mhm.
And the form, the visuality of it is fundamentally critical to creating that change because it makes tangible and manifest a future state that other people can experience and get excited about. It's one of those whole things like, I won't believe it until I see it.
Right.
Yeah.
To modify that phrase, I won't change until I see that it's better. And
Mm.
so design makes positive change for a future state desirable, visible, tangible, believable. So when you start from that first principle of design, AI can really enhance the ability to create desirable change. And so I gave a talk at the DNAD about one very specific way that this could potentially happen. And I won't go into the whole talk, but the main point of it is we have to start thinking of identity systems, because we work a lot in the brand identity space. We have to start thinking of identity systems not as an alphabet of colors and shapes and effectively visual components to create a symbolic language that expresses an idea. It's not that that's wrong. It's just that that's not the full extent of the possibilities behind creating brand identity systems.
Yep.
And so when you bring AI into that provocation, why couldn't an identity system have AI agents? Why couldn't an identity system have subsystems of routines that solve or execute parts of an identity program to increase operations, to offload the cognitive complexity of trying to onboard onto an identity system? Because anyone who's worked at a large company and received traditional PDF guidelines from an agency would say, this is a lot to digest and a lot to figure out. So what if those guidelines came with an AI agent that rather than having to read and practice the guidelines, onboarded you to it much faster and much more iteratively and much more in a outcome focused way for what you're trying to do than before? So that's not AI being incongruent with design. In fact, that's AI helping design better live into its promise of change, promise of positive change, because it's minimizing the adaptability complexities of a system. It's enhancing potentially what a system can do when it is implemented and so on. And so I see a lot of really useful impact of AI in the design space that isn't about replacing what designers do. It's really about augmenting and exponentially enhancing what we always should have been doing and for many people are doing.